Hi everyone, this is Shampriti here from EcoTales. In this video, I will cover some important topics of microeconomics relevant for UGC NET. Note that this video will not cover the topics exhaustively. To dig deeper, resort to textbooks. Please treat this video as a supplementary resource. In this video, we will continue our topic on marginal utility analysis. We will start with the law of equimarginal utility. This law is also known as the law of substitution, the law of maximum satisfaction, and Gauss's second law. Equilibrium in marginal utility analysis is explained through this law. If the consumer has a choice between only two goods, good A and good B, with a given fixed income that he has to spend, the equilibrium consumption of the two factors are governed by firstly the marginal utility of the respective goods and secondly the prices of the goods. The law states that the consumer will distribute his money income between goods A and good B in such a way that the utility derived from the last unit of money spent on each good is equal. That is, marginal utility of A divided by the price of good A equals marginal utility of B divided by the price of good B. If MUA by PA is greater than MUB by PB, the consumer will substitute good A with good B since marginal utility from consuming good A is higher. With successive consumption of good A, the marginal utility of A will fall and MUB will increase. The consumer will continue to substitute good A with good B until both are equilibrium. Equilibrium holds at equality. However, this equilibrium is not unique. How far the consumer goes in purchasing the good he wants is determined by the size of his money income. Law of demand. The law of demand expresses the relationship between quantity demanded and its price. It operates under the following assumptions. Firstly, no change in taste and preference of the consumer. Secondly, the income of the consumer is assumed to remain constant. Thirdly, there is no change in price of other products. And finally, there is no change in the quality of product. So the law states that the quantity demanded of a good increases with a decrease in its price, other things remaining constant. Thus, a demand curve is downward sloping. That is, if we plot the demand curve in a diagram with quantity in the horizontal axis and price in the vertical axis, the demand curve will look like this. Why the demand curve slopes downward? The slope of the demand curve can be explained by the following factors. Number 1, it is based on the law of diminishing marginal utility, which states that when the consumer consumes more and more units of a particular commodity, the marginal utility derived from that good continues to decline. So, a consumer will buy more units of that good only if the price of the commodity falls. Secondly, we have the price effect. When the price of a good decreases, its demand increases because more consumers want to consume it. Thus, due to price effect, consumer consume more of the good and the demand curve slopes downward. Next, we have the income effect. Due to decrease in price of a good, it also alters the real income of the consumer. As price decreases, the income of the consumer increases because he has to spend less in order to buy the same quantity. So this is known as the income effect, due to which the demand curve also slopes downward. Next, we have the substitution effect. When the price of a particular commodity falls, it becomes cheaper. So the consumer has a tendency to substitute the relatively cheaper good with the relatively costlier good. Thus, due to substitution effect also, the demand curve slopes downward. And finally, we have importance of usage. There are different uses of certain commodities and services that are responsible for the negative slope of the demand curve. Now, with the increase in price of such products, the goods will be used only for imported uses and their demands will fall. As a result, the demand curve will slope downward. Exceptions to the law of demand. There are always exceptions for a general law. Sometimes the demand curve may slope upwards instead of downwards. These cases were first studied by Sir Robert Giffen. The Giffen paradox holds that the demand is strengthened with a rise in price or weakened with a fall in price. Many causes may be attributed for a situation like this, such as war, depression, Giffen paradox, demonstration effect, and speculation. Shortcomings of the marginal utility analysis. Number 1, the cardinal measurability of utility is not possible practically and thus it is unrealistic. Utility is a psychological concept and it is difficult to measure it numerically. Secondly, the hypothesis of independent utility is not correct. Independent utility also implies that the utility which a consumer derives from a good is a function of the quantity of that good alone. This assumption is not correct. Thirdly, the assumption of constant marginal utility of money is not realistic. If the quantity of money decreases or increases, the marginal valuation of money also changes. Number 4, no clear distinction between income effect and substitution effect due to price change are brought out. Fifthly, we have the Giffen paradox, which is not properly explained by this theory. And finally, this theory is based on too many restrictive assumptions. Modern version of marginal utility analysis. Owing to its several shortcomings, some modern economists have reprised the theory by letting go of certain restrictive assumptions. By letting go of the constant marginal utility of money and the independent utilities assumption, they were able to explain Giffen paradox, substitutes and complementary goods, and also income effect as well. However, the cardinality of utility assumption is retained since it is the main distinctive feature of this analysis. So in this video, we learnt about the law of equimarginal utility, the law of demand, and the modern version of the marginal utility theory. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to Ecotels for more updates. Feel free to give any suggestions or queries. Thank you.